How's it going, everybody? Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, Sunday, 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern. Well, it's Wednesday on the show, everyone's favorite day of the week. Everybody on the chat is all excited about an hour of NXT talk. I'm not going to talk about NXT for an hour. Are you kidding me? But I will review it as I always do here today. Because they got a big show coming up next week, everybody. Spring something or other. Spring break-in? Breakout? Whatever. Anyway, we got that. We got AEW Dynamite tonight. And what we do know for sure about Dynamite, despite besides the 5 matches that have been announced, is that Hangman Page will not be there. Hangman Page has COVID-19 and will not be on Dynamite tonight. He took to social media Wednesday to announce he will not be on the show. Dynamite is tonight at 8 on TBS, but I will not be there because my face is full of COVID snot. Sorry, please enjoy regardless, he wrote on Twitter. He had a brief stare down with CM Punk after the Punk-Dustin Rhodes match last week. It is going to be Hangman Page versus Punk at the pay-per-view coming up at the end of May. But we still got about a month to build that up, so I think it's all right if he misses a week. Best of luck to him. And we'll go over the rest of the lineup here in a while as well. Raw ratings killed by the NBA playoffs as always. Got some notes on WWE stadium shows. The Inspiration. The former Iconics, now Cassie Lee and Jessie McKay, done with pro wrestling for the time being. We'll tell you about that and plenty of other notes as well. If you want to contact us here today, we'll have time for text messages, maybe even phone calls as well. But we'll start with text messages. 425-780-7566 is the phone number, 425-780-7566. You can always email me, Brian at WrestlingObserver.com, at Bryan Alvarez on Twitter, F4W Online on Cameo. Back in a moment with more Observer Live.
Hey there, everyone. I recently got to chat with Blake Christian, who has been absolutely killing it on the independent wrestling scene. Here's the Q&A I did with him, part 1. Question number 1, how did you and Cora Jade meet?
So it was during the pandemic. I slid in their DMs,
So it worked for you.
Yeah, it was just, the rest was history after that one.
Back at the show, Bryan Alvarez here, wrestling. Oh, hi! Wrestling Observer Live, Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. Yes, the inspiration. They're done with wrestling for the time being. I don't know what that means, because you know how it is in wrestling. People are done. They almost always come back. Except in the case of myself, I'm fully retired. Inspirations Cassie Lee, Jessie McKay are stepping away from the ring. Statement issued Wednesday. They announced they are, quote, indefinitely stepping away from in-ring action. Lee and McKay have been part of Impact Wrestling since signing with the promotion last October. I want to thank Scott D'Amore, the entire Impact family, they said. We have had such an incredible experience working with the incredible Impact staff and roster. Bunch of other stuff here. So all I know is that, this is all legit. So they left on very, very good terms, but for the time being, they're leaving wrestling. And what they're going to do, I don't know. But they had their last match this past weekend. They faced the Influence, and Influence retained their titles. So, I guess we'll find out what the future holds, and who knows? You know how wrestling is. Well, it'll be interesting, I guess, is contractually, I mean, you can leave, but if they decide to return to wrestling, presumably, contractually, they would have to return to Impact Wrestling and work out the rest of that contract. So, we'll see what they do if they come back. And I don't have anything more to say. That's the update. So best of luck to them.
Did Lance run them off?
That's what you came up with out of all that?
Do you really care? What's your favorite Iconics moment, Brian?
So anyway, can we talk about Dynamite here tonight?
Sure.
We have Hikaru Shida, Serena Deeb in a street fight. Lance Archer faces Wardlow. We got an Owen Hart tournament qualifier with Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler with CM Punk doing commentary. Hopefully CM Punk was not exposed to COVID when he had that face-to-face with Hangman Page last week. Have heard nothing about that. We have got Sammy Guevara, Scorpio Sky in a ladder match. And we have Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, Matt, and Nick Jackson against Griff Garrison, Brian Pillman Jr., Dante Martin, Lee Johnson, and Brock Anderson. So that is the lineup for the show tonight. Probably ain't going to do all that well since we got the NBA, which brutalized Raw on Monday night again. Raw did a 1.61 million viewership, 0.44 in the 18-49 demo. The Brooklyn Nets Boston Celtics game, 3.83 million viewers and a 1.33 18-49. Utah Jazz and Dallas Mavericks, 3.19 million, and a 1.17 at 18-49. So these basketball games, they kill everything. Well, it's a normal first to third hour drop. 1.70 million first hour, 1.67 million second hour, big drop, 1.47 million third hour, although that is the usual drop. And hey, they were out of the 1.3s in that third hour this week, so I guess that's a positive. But that's raw numbers there. No story.
Not really.
I can keep going, Mike. Then we've got...
what would you like me to add to that? It was very fun watching Brooklyn fail miserably instead of watching Raw on
sure,
Monday
that's
night.
something now, isn't it? I don't want you to say anything. I'm just expecting.
You're hurting today, aren't you?
I got a lot of... Hey, listen. You guys want me to talk about NXT 2.0 for the rest of the show? I can. So you can either jump in with some commentary or I'll just continue on here. It's not even a threat. I got a lot I could say about this show. I don't know why everyone hates NXT 2.0 so much. I mean, it's a bad show, but, I mean, God, did you guys not live through, like, WCW Thunder and Nitro?
Brian, that was 25 years ago.
It was,
Maybe
but
not.
my point is, like, God, the show's, I mean, it's not a great show, but And there was some good matches on the show.
Hey, Roxy's going to be a star no matter what happens.
I don't know if I'd go that far.
Well,
but she's very good. Like, she worked rings around Mandy Rose. God bless Mandy Rose. But, I mean, we'll get into that later. I'm trying to avoid it. You guys are trying to goad me into it. And, here's another thing, by the way.
Yes.
I'm sure this person's joking, but he goes, I'd rather watch Prime Thunder. Bro, you guys don't get it. Everybody says stuff like that till you actually go back and watch Thunder. Bro,
Thunder didn't have a Prime.
You watch 3 episodes of Thunder, and you're going to be begging to watch NXT 2.0 again.
You remember the Natural Born Thrillers? We did a lot of that on NXT
lived through
2.0.
all of this. Yeah, all of this. Oh, how easily. Actually, it's not really. It was 25 years ago or whatever. But, bro, those Thunders, I'm telling you.
Tore you asunder is what happened there with that.
Those Thunders did tear me asunder. So let's not have it's called rose-colored glasses. You're looking at the past through rose-colored glasses. I watched it with no glasses. I watched it actually as it was, and it was absolutely horrible. And it's funny. It's like people remember, every now and then there was something funny like Sid versus the Harris brothers, and one of the Harris brothers said his head almost fell off, and then he adds, that was sad. And stuff like that was funny. But, bro, you guys don't remember. There was a funny thing that would happen every now and then on the show. The rest of the time, it absolutely sucked. It was not so bad it was good. It was not so bad it was funny. Every now and then a funny thing happened. But that show was 104 hours of Thunder over the course of a year. And it wasn't all funny. It was outright bad. So anyway, stadium shows. An increased amount of stadium shows look to be the norm for WWE going forward. WWE will set a company record with 8 stadium shows this year. Our own Andrew Zarian reports that running more stadium events is an approach that WWE plans to continue in 2023. So 2022 had 8 events. Goal is to make this the new norm. It's a Nick Khan approach when it comes to premium live events. Scalability of stadiums is very beneficial when it comes to having a live audience over 15,000. Event doesn't have to be a sellout of 50,000, but now you have room to do 20 to 35,000 shows more often, leading to higher revenue and a higher level of excitement for the event. Well, that's certainly the idea now, isn't it? But can you put 35,000 people regularly into a stadium? I guess we shall find out. Obviously, if you're doing a Royal Rumble or a WrestleMania or a SummerSlam, but are you going to put 35,000 people in the building for a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view? Guess we shall find out how loyal these traveling fans are for these shows.
Money in the Bank at Allegiant Stadium. That's the most interesting one for me. SummerSlam, the show that's going to take place in Wales, I don't think they're going to have any problem there, but it's amazing. Money in the Bank at Allegiant Stadium, it's just like, that's going to be probably a great test, without having a WrestleMania name or a Survivor Series or something like that attached to it. Be interesting to see what they actually end up with.
And this person asked about, won't they just lie about? Well, of course they're going to lie about the attendance. But the fact is, you're still going to put way more people in than you would running a building that seats 15,000. That's the idea here. And, it will be an experiment. It's all about whether this works out in terms of revenue. Do you have to lower ticket prices to sell 35,000 tickets? Are you going to sell 35,000 tickets? Is it worthwhile to rent the building? And then you do the math. Obviously, I'm not a math guy. But if it works, then you continue running at stadiums. And, the big thing is, here's the thing with WWE, everybody. The booking sucks, and they can't create stars, okay? They have a very hard time doing that. If the booking were better, they would easily, I believe, sell lots of tickets to stadium shows for their big events. So, is the booking and the star-making ability enough to, sell 35,000 tickets to 10, 15 stadium events every year? We're going to find out. But they certainly could. I'm not saying they can't. They could. A lot of things they could do. Back in a moment, Observer Live.
Question number 2, any pre or post match rituals?
I always ask the universe to protect me, protect my opponent, let me perform to the best of my ability, keep us safe, and that's my pre-match ritual always.
Question number 3, what's your favorite city to wrestle in?
Well, this is a good one. I have to say top of the list right now, just because it was at the Hammerstein Ballroom, was New York City.
Such a good moment for GCW and everything.
Sure.
Question number 4, favorite wrestlers growing up?
Eddie Guerrero, top of the list, all-time favorite. Second, Rey Mysterio. Yeah, those two are my top 2 always.
Nice. Favorite late night snack?
I like strawberry Twizzlers. I don't like cherry ones. I like the strawberry Twizzlers.
Question number 6, favorite person to watch wrestle? Favorite person to wrestle.
Favorite person to wrestle. That's a good one. I've wrestled a lot of people that I enjoy wrestling. I don't know. Maybe a top between Jonathan Gresham, Nick Wayne, and Jordan Oliver's another one. Me and Jordan Oliver have always had great matches, so I enjoy combining our minds together to make something special.
I love it. All young up-and-coming stars, continue building upon that. Question number 7, favorite movie genre?
I'm such a movie guy, but I do love the horror movies.
Question number 8, worst travel story?
Probably this past weekend. So I overslept, missed my flight, but also when I got there, they said it was canceled anyways. So I tried to book a flight to get home that day, but didn't work out, but it was fine. Went to WrestleMania, watched the show.
Question number 9, a best way to entertain yourself while traveling?
I watch a lot of wrestling, I play Angry Birds or Tetris, or I just listen to music and sleep.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my conversation with Blake Christian. I'll see you on the next video.
Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. Well, let's talk about NXT.
Yay!
Another thing with this show is the good workers have good matches. And the non-wrestlers, they practice all week, and then, like, on a good night, it's all right. On a bad night, it ain't all right. And, I mean, it would be fine, but, like, if you've been following this whole NIL recruitment deal, I mean, the future of the show is more matches like Nikita Lyons and Lash Legend. Did you guys watch this match? It wasn't bad, okay? It certainly was not good. But what it was two very, very green, and I will call them non-wrestlers because they're not learning to wrestle. They're learning to choreograph performances. They are sports entertainers through and through. They practice a match for a long time, and then they get in there live, and then they try. And there was a spot in this match that was so funny where they both start hitting the ropes and they both forgot what they're supposed to do. So literally they're crisscrossing like the Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan, but go in the same direction. And they're yelling at each other as they cross to try to tell each other what they're supposed to be doing. I was dying. And I just watched the show and I thought, I know that USA Network, I'm sure they want the show live, right? But this show absolutely should not be live. This is a developmental show with green non-wrestlers who have to practice their matches and then go out there and do their best. This absolutely, positively needs to be a taped show if it's going to be on national television. But it's live, and so we get funny moments like this. So, they did the match. Nikita Lyons won with a big kick, and the announcers just, put over that Twitter's exploding every time Nikita Lyons is on TV, and it's just so whatever it is. That's what this show is. And then we had Tony D'Angelo supposed to face Zion Quinn, who I guess was out of action due to injury. And so he gets set up for a match with Von Wagner, which at least, actually, even then, I don't know who was supposed to be the babyface. Exactly. I guess nobody. I don't know what's going on. Then we had Roderick Strong is upset that the Creed brothers keep failing. And so he has brought the Viking Raiders from the main roster. They will be facing the Creed brothers next week, which actually could be a fun match. We had Von Wagner and Tony D'Angelo, and this match was all right. Tony D'Angelo's had, at this point, it's probably, I swear to God, 12 matches. And for a guy with 12 matches, he's doing really good. So, this was not you're not getting a 5-star match or anything close, but it was fine. And then, Legado del Fantasma showed up, and there was a distraction. Escobar took out D'Angelo's knee with a crowbar. D'Angelo sells and sells. He finally jumps in the ring to break up the count. He gets kicked and pinned by Von Wagner. The way this was worked, it was like Tony D'Angelo was supposed to be a babyface. But later in the show, Legado del Fantasma were babyfaces. But I think they're all heels. I am so baffled watching this show. We had a Toxic Attraction segment with the former Roxy. She'll always be the former Roxy to me. This set up a match with Mandy Rose tonight. I thought for sure they'd do Gigi Dolan next because she beat JC Jane last week. But no, it's just this week it's going to be Mandy Rose. Fallon Henley, they're going to be doing a match later. A 6-person with Legado, and that one woman who we just cannot identify, and they never identify her. They never give us her name. She walked by, and Brooks Jensen, he's all distracted, because he's got some problems down there, and he was yelled at for that. We had Grayson Waller. So they got this guy, Nathan Frazier from NXT UK. He's supposed to debut. And Grayson Waller comes out, and he interrupts the debut, and he starts cutting this promo. And he starts burying Nathan Frazier for having a horrible haircut. And, here's the thing, everybody. When you're a babyface, and the heel's telling you that your haircut sucks, and with all due respect, your haircut sucks, it might be time to get a new haircut. So then, for some reason, Andre Chase and Bodie Hayward, which is a great name. It's one of the rare great names in this company. They're in the crowd, and then they get in the ring, and they distract Grayson, and then, Nathan Frazier jumps off the top with a drop kick and then does a bunch of spots. So I guess Chase University are baby faces, but I don't know why. And Nathan Frazier is now aligned with them. And he's you know what this is? For those of you that watched before y'all gave up, what they're doing with Nathan Frazier, it is exactly what they did with Kurt Stallion. Exactly.
Oh, no.
Except Nathan Frazier has a much worse haircut.
He hasn't had anywhere near as cool of a promo as the Stallion did. You remember that?
Oh, I remember.
Remember
all
those
right.
acting chops he had when he was laid out on the ground?
Don't think I don't remember any of this. Guys remember in like it was about 2001 or so, Shawn Michaels had been gone for a while, and then there was like one show where he came back and he decided he was going to cut his hair to here and
Dutch
straight
boy?
all the way around. Page
Yes.
boy. God. Well, that's what this Nathan Frazier has done. I don't know what he was thinking in 2022.
By the way, the former Ben Carter, for everybody out there who does not watch NXT.
Yeah, Ben, get a Ben Carter haircut, whatever that would be. And then we had Katana Chance and Kaden Carter versus Yulissa Leone and Valentina Feroz. And what's so funny?
The Road
twerkers?
Warriors. Well, the Road Warriors neon, whatever the hell it was, shoulder pads that they had on that they came out with.
So I don't know. I cannot figure out this Yulissa Leone and Valentina Feroz thing here because first off, their gimmick is that they just they do a lot of shaking.
Salsa?
They do a lot of shaking. Okay, and then
Sorry.
one of them, I think it's Yulissa Leone. Okay, this just I mean. Here, it's just weird. The way she moves in the ring is like, it's totally wrong, okay? Everything she does when she moves looks totally wrong, but her stuff looks good, and she can actually kind of work.
Well, what do you mean by that for the layman out there who's never been in the ring before?
Just like, stands up too tall, and everything looks totally unnatural and awkward, but she still manages to pull everything off. I can't even explain it. It's just like, it's so weird. But I was watching the match, and at the beginning, it's like all they're doing is just shaking their ass and moving weird. And I'm just watching this thing going, what? But then, like as the match kept getting, by the end, it was actually a good match. So, I don't know. It leaves me with, I have no words, except somehow they had a really good match. I don't know about really good, but it was good. And, yeah, that was that. Legado del Fantasma. So, old BJ
Ugh.
gets beat up in the back, and the babyfaces presume it's Legado del Fantasma. But we later find out that it was actually Von Wagner who was sent to beat him up because he'd been rubbernecking on the woman who they don't identify. That's what happened. So it ended up being 2-on-3, and this was also a good match because you got Legado del Fantasma in there, and they're very, very good. And Fallon Henley, I mean, she's not bad. And Josh Briggs is, he's every big man they've ever had on this show. I mean, you can rattle off every big man tag team partner they've had from, I've already forgotten all of their names, but Tucker, all these guys. He's exactly like all of them, but he's fine. He's perfectly serviceable, and this match was good. And of course, they got beaten because it was 3-on-2, but that match was totally fine. Solo Sikoa and Trick Williams, I mean, wasn't very good. Trick Williams very, very green. And the funniest thing about this match is they have Cameron Grimes on commentary. Cameron Grimes is a great promo. I have no idea what was going on commentary. His commentary was not good at all. And the weirdest thing was, I don't even know if he was doing it on purpose or what, but like he had all of these cliches, and he would begin the cliche, but the end of the cliche, he'd get it wrong. It was just like one after another. I listened to this whole thing. I was like, what is happening here? And then he got in the ring afterwards, and Sikoa tried to super kick Hayes. He ducked, and so he hit Grimes. And they're doing a 3-way next week. We had a great segment with Nervous Malik Blade and Edris Enofe trying to give him a pep talk. These two guys are great.
They are good.
But they got killed by the Viking Raiders. That was a fun little match there. We had a vignette with Wes Lee on the beach. He's all sad about what happened, but he can't tell you what happened or mention his partner's name or tell you anything. So given he could give you no information, it was a pretty good promo. And then we had Mandy Rose and
Dad went to the liquor store, never came home. That's what happened here, I guess.
Mandy Rose and Roxy was the main event, and it was all right. Roxanne Perez, she's in the ring at this point. I mean, she was carrying this match with Mandy. I don't know what's going on with Mandy. I don't like to say bad things about people, but her promos and her work, like, this is where she was years ago. There's been no improvement over all of these years. I don't know if she doesn't care or what, but she won, so they beat Roxanne, which I couldn't even believe. And
Maybe she's just leveled out in their system.
After the break, we'll talk more. Observer Live.
Hey guys, it's Denise, and I've gathered some of the best highlights from the Cody Rhodes WWE Media Scrum. Take a look.
I think he did, we did speak, and I think Triple H did it in such a Triple H fashion. Everybody had come on the bus to say hello, to talk a little bit about what may happen. The very last one was Triple H, and ooh. My assistant, my former assistant from AEW was, he came as a friend. He was on it, and he knows the world's worst kept secret that Hunter is my favorite wrestler. And that was a really, this has been a wild, tear-filled weekend, but it was just a good moment. Also, just to see him healthy, and I know, retirement came as it did, but to do some justice, to not only see my favorite wrestler and somebody that, gosh, I wanted to model so many things after and such, but Seth being his protege, and to be able to give some of those fan service, perhaps moments, for the fans, but also for Triple H, because all wrestlers, we're all marks and fans, and even at the highest level, which he's been. But that was really touching. Especially, you got to put it in perspective. As many of you know, I talked a lot of smack. I destroyed his throne. I mean, I was very loud and vociferous and just very...
Glad to see all the praise for my NXT reporting here, so I'll continue on. By the way, throughout the show, they've got video packages for all of these women that will be in the breakout tournaments coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, this tournament.
These gimmicks. Alexandra York is back. Talk about putting something out from 35 years ago.
We got Sloane Jacobs. She's going to be there. And
Sloane.
Look at some of these other names that they've got. Kiana James. Who else do they have? Alba Fire. She explains it like she spins fire around now or something like that. That's why she's that. I'm not kidding.
I know. Well, she had a stick she was dragging across the ground, wasn't she?
May have been. Anyway, after that Mandy Rose match, she won, and then Wendy Chu showed up, and she was gonna shoot him with a super. So I gotta.
Yeah, please.
Why do you guys not watch this show? So
Make me.
Mandy Rose beats Roxanne, And then, as the heels are celebrating, Wendy Chu shows up in her pajamas with a super soaker. She tries to spray the heels with water, but they go running. And they stop on the ramp to go, "Ha-ha, we're too far away for you to get us with that water." And Wendy Chu has a device, and she goes, ka-chunk, and a net falls from the ceiling to capture the heels on the ramp. They attempt to get out of the ramp, but the net, but it takes just long enough for Wendy Chu and Perez to shoot them with silly string. I'm not making a second of that up.
She's got a long career in the 24/7 division coming up, doesn't she?
So Spring Breakin' is next week. Nathan Frazier will face Grayson
Breakin'.
Waller.
Have you made fun of this name yet?
Who cares? Natty and Lash Legend face Cora Jade and Nikita Lyons, the feud that will never die. The Viking Raiders versus the Creed Brothers. Cameron Grimes versus Solo Sikoa and Carmelo Hayes. Tony D'Angelo and Santos Escobar in a sit-down meeting. They're advertising that in case you're thinking about skipping the show. And Braun Breaker against Joe Gacy.
You want to talk about that final segment more?
Braun Breaker versus Joe Gacy would be, in the words of Cameron Grimes, a main event in any arena in this arena. I'm seriously going to go back and listen to that whole segment and try and figure out what was going on there.
Oh, my God.
Then
you know, we
had-
should actually take a list of the people that are on this show and actually just divide them on a piece of paper on baby faces and heels and see how many names actually fill up. Because for all the things we said about heels there, and I know she's teaming with Natty, but are Lash Legend and Nikita Lyons at this point both baby faces? And at some point, does it feel like they are going to be a tag team?
Well, I think Lash Legend is a heel. And they may eventually, begrudgingly become a tag team.
Can you imagine the team names they're going to come
Can
up
I
with?
get
for
through this
those two?
stupid main event so I can stop talking about this show?
Sorry.
Joe Gacy comes down to the ring, and he is surrounded by all of his druids. Because now Joe Gacy, and it's never been explained, now he has druids. And Harlan has vanished. We don't know where Harlan went. He disappeared. But who needs Harlan when you got 24 druids? So he's got all these druids around the ring, and he's cutting a promo on Braun Breaker, and he says that Braun Breaker is not medically clear to defend the title, and so he's just going to be the champion. Rick Steiner appears. Yes, Rick Steiner. And he comes down the aisle, and he gets in the ring, and Joe Gacy said, "You made a big mistake coming here, Rick Breaker." And all the druids get up on the apron, and so, Rick's in big trouble because, they're going to suck his blood next. But then the music of Braun Breaker hits, and he's actually great. He comes down, he's killing druids. He's just clothesline, boom! He's just killing all these druids, and then he gets in the ring, and Gacy lays him out, and so he's down, and then his belt has been left in the aisle. So the last 2 minutes of the show, seriously. The druid at the end of the line, he picks up the belt, he gives it to the next druid. That druid gives it to the next druid. That druid gives it, and they just all the way down the aisle up into the ring, and they finally give it to Joe Gacy. And the announcers after that creeped out that they transported the belt to the ring one druid at a time. And that's how the show goes off the air. It's a guilty pleasure, everybody. You know you want to watch this show.
Pleasure?
You know you want to watch this show every week.
I guess for some, S&M is pleasure. Nipple clamps are pleasure, so there you go.
What are we talking about? It's a television show. There was some decent stuff on it.
Malcolm Bivens giving a dirty look to Roderick Strong.
Yeah, he was great.
And Ivy Nile is on the outside right now, and Creed Brothers... Interesting, they've been playing up Malcolm Bivens as a babyface. He can do a promo either way. They haven't really defined him. It's just that people have taken to him in a certain way, and the Creed brothers. It'll be interesting to see if he sticks with them, which I would like to see, or if he ends up going with Roderick Strong, since it looks like they're going to be breaking everybody up here, or at least maybe having some new members of the Diamond Mine, possibly, if the Creed brothers leave the group.
So, by the way, since so many people are interested in this review on the chat, that many questions have come up. Yes, Von Wagner's suspension was lifted. Why? Because he wasn't supposed to be on the show. Zion Quinn got injured, and they needed a replacement, so they had to use Von Wagner. So they did explain his suspension has been lifted, which was good because I forgot he was suspended, because this show is just like a bunch of stuff happens. It's really not all that important, to be honest with you.
Doesn't Robert Stone have another woman under contract, or is this mystery woman the only person that he's having contact with?
I think you're remembering, what's her face? It got called up to SmackDown like 6 months ago.
Oh, her?
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? Aaliyah. She was with Robert Stone. She's on SmackDown. She was there this week. What do you mean what happened to her? Didn't I play the audio yesterday on this very show?
No.
Yes, I'm pretty sure I did. Did I not? Or did I do that with Tom? All right, well.
Filthy.
Just for that, I'm going to play it for you.
Oh, okay. You want to set this clip up?
Well, she's backstage, and she's fawning over Ricochet. Because you see on SmackDown, remember they had that thing, and they asked, randos, who has better storytelling, WWE or AEW? And like 60% said WWE. Well, their storytelling is, we do an angle every 6 months or so, and then we just totally drop it. So, about 6 months ago, Aaliyah was fawning over Ricochet, and then they just totally dropped it, and we never heard about it again until Friday. Now she's back fawning over Ricochet again. Are you ready to hear this? He's going to be defending the title later on in the program or something like that. Here we go.
Give it to me.
Might want some audio, huh? If you guys think this live radio is easy, there's a reason I'm doing it, and none of you that are complaining are. All right, here we go.
Your match last week with Jinder was incredible.
Thank you.
He's so big, and
Yeah,
you were flying around the ring like it was nobody's business. I mean, that's awesome. So far, you've beaten Jinder, Sammy, Angel, and Humberto.
That's true.
How? And what is next?
Honestly, this is just the beginning. It is. I've said it before.
Beaten.
You know who else did that last night? Not Roxy, but what's her face?
What, Mandy?
No. Damn it.
JC Jane. Gigi
no, not
Dolan.
JC Jane. No, not
You're
God.
killing me here.
Yeah,
Describe
this
the
whole show
person.
has been killing us. Small black hair. Cora Jade also has that same inflection or whatever it would be with how she says things.
Beaten.
Yep. Jensen.
Boomer. Let's look at some of this feedback here. Sure, people have got a lot to say, probably about NXT 2.0. Did you know some former Kayla Inlay, who was that worker who was, my favorite, Kayla Inlay. She was, she has a new gimmick where she looks like a businesswoman. Is that who that was?
Yeah, apparently.
Oh, I got it. I was trying to figure out who that was. Yeah. Maybe she's a
the legendary
salesperson.
York Foundation. Another thing that looked.
That's who you were talking about.
Yes, when you take a picture in a magazine and you see Terry Taylor and Alexandra York and everybody else who was in that, Tommy Rich. When you see that group on paper, Ricky Morton, you go, hey, that may have been kind of cool. If you lived through it, it wasn't really. It wasn't.
This person says, I looked to NXT for comedy at this point. Just make me laugh, I'll be fine with the show. Give me Persian Indy having, quote, real conversations. Give me JB and BJ, Malik and Edris. That was
Trick
some
and
okay
Carmelo.
wrestling, and I'm good.
They have people on there where you see it. Is Tiffany Stratton, you got me. Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes, especially, Mello is going to be a star, should be, hopefully, knock on wood, a star in this business. Legato's all fantastic. I mean, there is stuff there worth viewing every week. It's just you this is for modern times, this is as close as what we have to those syndicated shows from our youth 35 years ago on Superstars and Challenge and Main Event and Worldwide and all those sorts of things, where you do really have to pluck out what is good, and the rest of it you just kind of have to forget and put in the background, and that's what WWE is hoping you're going to do with these shows.
This person here says, Brian, you should talk about some real news, like the fact that Shop AEW now has a Cake and Violence shirt available for sale. Well,
I like Cake and
Violence. You got to jump on that sort of thing.
Whose is that?
I do too. Brian, I got my hair cut in high school because of Shawn Michaels' Dutch Man Do. Dead serious, and I can prove it.
Oh, my God.
I don't
please.
need it proven. I believe you.
I want it proven, and is it okay that we show the people this?
And then he also added here, I immediately regretted it, by the way.
So that's probably a no. That's But if you want to, please.
This person here says, if every pay-per-view is in a stadium, how do you tell your audience that WrestleMania is all glitz and glamorous if every show in a stadium? Well, because WrestleMania is 2 days.
Oh, God.
That's the hook. And there will be more people there, obviously.
But there's going to be more shows with 2 days. Just watch.
Let's see. Anytime Brian says anything positive, oh, he's got a animated GIF here. Why are you sending me a text animated GIF? I've heard a lot about this. I've not seen it. Takeshita versus Brandon Cutler on Dark Elevation was the greatest match, this person says, of Brandon Cutler's entire career. Please go out of your way to watch this match if you know what is best for you.
Or just watch one of the many Konosuke Takeshita matches over the last several years where he showed himself to be one of the best young stars in all of professional wrestling anywhere. I don't think you need BC for that.
Let's see what we got here.
Kaz Fujita. Let me just throw this one in here because got COVID.
Another COVID issue.
Vacated, yeah. And there are people who don't necessarily believe that, but you know.
They don't believe that he got COVID?
Conveniently.
What, he didn't want to drop the title?
That's what a lot of people would like to
Well, he did
believe.
drop the title. Because you get stripped.
No, he was stripped of the title.
Well, yeah.
You lose it, and you never actually lose it looking at the lights, so.
I'd be disgusted. I would be. I'd be disgusted. Back in a moment, Observer Live.
Intense on getting angry. I was just angry. And that was a moment of no anger. Because why would I be angry? You guys are paying me this absurd amount of money, and I get to be me. And especially coming from where I had left here, there's nothing to be angry about. It's more a matter of one, chapter ended, a beautiful chapter at AEW, which I'm so proud of. I started in the WWE system at 1920, and I was on the road full time. Never one weekend off, except when I tore my trap, and that was 3 weeks. That's where the mustache came from. So that was the only time I ever had off. In the 10 years I was with WWE, that'd be really fun. I loved watching my dad wrestle when he was older, but also it's hard, and people forget that it's like a 36-year-old going on 50 is more what it feels like, just because of the schedule I had. So I don't know. I think I'm going to get away from absolutes, because I was the king of absolutes for the last 6 years, and a lot of them coming back to bite me in the ass. So, which is fine. That's so good. We change our minds. We change stuff like that. But yeah, I think maybe 40.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of Wrestling Observer Live.
Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. Speaking of stadium shows, SummerSlam, Nissan Stadium, Nashville, Tennessee. The show is currently set up for 34,434, according to WrestleTix. They have sold 19,949 tickets. And the show is a long way away. It's July 30th, so April. Can you stop chomping on the air? Dude, April, you're muted for a second. We got July 30th, so 3 months. And at this point, they're selling 231 tickets a day. So it is drastically slowed down after the pre-sale. But presumably when we get some matches announced, et cetera, I'm sure they hope it will pick up again. But that is the update on SummerSlam right now. And, bro, what are you eating on the air?
You see this, Brian? Somebody likes me, okay? Somebody liked me enough to send me a whole box of various insomnia cookies.
Wow.
And you know who that person was? It wasn't you. It was our fine producer, Dom.
Well,
a real friend and hero.
Dom's got heat with me now since he decided to eat them during the final segment of the show and chomp. That's what that button's for, everybody. Anyway, hey, listen, tonight, AEW Dynamite. I will be recapping that show with Dave for Wrestling Observer Radio tonight, plus all of the news. Tomorrow, we will recap it here on this program. And that is the plan. So we're going to wrap it up here for today. I thank Mike, as always. I guess Dom. Callers and listeners, Twitch homies. Those of you that actually pay for YouTube. We'll talk to you next time. Wrestling Observer Live.
You guys are clear. Great show.